Calling it now, I will not see a better romance for the entirety of 2019 than I did with Toothless and that Light Fury. God, that was adorable! How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Luke's Reviews, and on today's video I will be reviewing the final chapter in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Now, The Hidden World made it onto my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2019, and that's basically because that if this wrap up to the trilogy was as good as the previous two or just around the vicinity, we would be looking at one of the greatest animated trilogies of all time, up there alongside Toy Story. Because I think the first How to Train Your Dragon is a near perfect film, and the second one was just as good of a follow-up. And so, I am very happy to report that How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World is a great conclusion to a wonderful series. So the plot of The Hidden World picks up a few years after the end of How to Train Your Dragon 2. Hiccup is now chief of Berk. He's got Toothless in tow. Berk has now become a safe haven for dragons. Toothless, however, is also looking for love, and that's when he bumps into a Light Fury. They spark a lovely little relationship, but it also ties into how Hiccup is having to learn to take command and lead, but also having to let go of some of the things of his past. Independence is a major theme within all of the How to Train Your Dragon films, but I think it comes to the forefront most in this conclusion here. They also have to battle against the evil Grimmel, voiced by F. Murray Abraham, who is the expert hunter of dragons. He's not just a physical match for some of the dragons, he's strategically thousands of steps in front of them. One of my favourite aspects of the franchise as a whole is that I've always admired the maturity of the How to Train Your Dragon films. It doesn't pander to kids, it doesn't rely on cheap fart, bath jokes, anything like that. Yes, it has a couple of jokes that kids are going to giggle at and that adults might roll their eyes at, but more often than not, it strikes a good balance between entertaining the adults and entertaining the kids. It doesn't shy away from some mature themes like loss, abandonment, and, like I said, independence. As for this one, I mean, it's needless to say, the animation is beautiful. A lot of the establishing shots, as you maybe go over the town of Berk or you're spanning across the oceans, they look real. It looks so realistic. The action sequences are always thrilling and exciting. There's one that opens up the film as they're sort of pulling off a raid to help and rescue these dragons. And it is one long take as Hiccup and his gang are sort of fighting other soldiers on the deck of a ship. And yes, I know what you're thinking, oh, it's animation. Long takes probably aren't that difficult. They're not as complex as live action. I would argue that there's more challenge in an animation sense, because you've got to get everything correct. You've got to get that camera moving fluidly between, so any animation can come in at the right time. I was amazed by that opening shot. The relationships between our main characters are as strong as ever. Hiccup and Toothless continue to be one of the most adorable pairings ever. I want Toothless as a pet. I mean, I don't know how feasible a dragon would be as a pet, but I'll give it a go. And as well, there are a lot of nice little callbacks to the first film, for example. And it makes you think of how much of a journey Hiccup and Toothless have been on. I sat and watched the first and second one just before I saw this one. And it is amazing. You just get swept up on this journey. It's basically, these three films are a coming-of-age tale, not just for Hiccup, but for Toothless as well. They're both having to be leaders, chiefs, kings of their respective people. My only real negative of the film, and it's a very slight nitpick, is that in the second act it kind of slows a little bit. You're sort of like living through the highs of the first act, and then the second act it kind of just stops for a little bit, but by the time that you've kind of noticed that it's a bit slower, it's like it recognizes that you've noticed, and so it's like, okay, we'll pick it back up again, and then the third act is just brilliant. And I want to mention John Powell's score. Now, I personally think that it is one of the most underrated, not just animated scores, but just scores in general. Listening to that theme, you know, the every single moment that appears in any of the How to Train Your Dragon films, just it gets you heart pumping, it's exciting, it's energetic. And about halfway through the film, it suddenly dawned on me that this theme hadn't yet been played. So I was sitting there, I was just like, oh, I hope they don't get rid of it. I bloody love that theme. And then you're kind of nearing 3/4 of the film, and I've kind of accepted this fact that maybe the theme's not going to be in there. I was a little disappointed, but I thought the music otherwise was great. I just wanted that theme. And then we get to the final 5-10 minutes or so, and it's the perfect conclusion to the trilogy. No spoilers, of course, but it is the ideal wrap-up of the story that's been told over these 3 films, and countless little TV shows as well. And it is in those final 5-10 minutes where that theme is heard, and I'm telling you right now, hairs were standing up all over me. I was absolutely in awe of that finale. The film itself was great all the way through, but that ending was perfect, which makes me even more hopeful of the fact, DreamWorks, do not touch this. Leave it alone. You've literally had the best 3 movies you've ever made in your trilogy. Leave it alone. Don't dredge it back up for a cash grab. So yes, this is another smash hit for the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, and perfectly wraps up the story of Hiccup and Toothless. The animation is simply gorgeous, and it ends on such an exciting and moving note. I think in terms of the whole trilogy, I'd probably put, just having only seen it the once so far, I'd put the third one in 3rd place. I'd then put the second one in 2nd place, and the first one, I can watch the first one any day of the week, so I will put that in 1st place. But anyway, I am going to give How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World a 9 out of 10. Anyway guys, those are my thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. If you've seen the film yet, let me know what you thought in the comments below, as well as let me know what is your favourite animated trilogy. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and blog are in the description below. Many thanks for watching, guys. I'm about to go see England take on Ireland. We're going to trounce them, hopefully. And I will see you in the next video. We won!